Hi friends, this is Advocate Rahul Maskar. In this series, we will discuss art of court craftsmanship. Now as the word itself suggests, this is an art in which we need to appear in court. And how do I appear in court? What is my appearance? See, it is the question of just like a drama. Please understand that when we are before the court, we are nothing less than the actors in film and actors in drama. Because at that particular point of time, we need to have in us certain amount of dramatic skills in our presentation. The reason is we are knowing our case, but the court is absolutely not aware about our case. Number one. Number two, court is hearing this kind of cases routinely. So, there where our art of presentation and our art of court craftsmanship, what we say, comes into the picture. How we present ourselves. Now, here there are certain mixture of soft skills which are required for the lawyer. One of the most important aspect which we need to keep in our mind is our body language. As to how is our body language? Because in the course of arguments, there are chances that we may depict something wrong body language to the court. See, we need to understand the thin line between arrogance and aggression. Yes, we have to be aggressive in putting our case, but we should not be arrogant in putting our case. For example, some gestures which I feel should be avoided while arguing. For example, don't point out like this to the honorable court. It's slightly odd. It's not good. You have different ways of your aggression presented, but pointing out fingers is slightly shifting from aggression to arrogance. Also, the manner in which you stand. See, we have that pleading desk. Stand in a very composed manner, straight, keep your shoulders very straight, and argue in a very straight manner. Be in a straight position to argue it. The body language actually depicts our confidence in the case. So, we need to work on that, and we need to see that my body language when I am presenting my case is confident, it is positive, at the same time it is not arrogant but aggressive. Then voice skills. Friends, we need to really work on our voice skills when we are presenting our case. If you see the interviews of all big actors, one common thing which you will find in their interviews is they read the script at least 5 to 6 times. They underline the words, they underline the sentences. Why do they do that? Because they know here my voice has to be in this manner. This sentence has to be spoken in this manner. Identically, friends, we need all that kind of things while arguing our case. When I am arguing my case, I need to know at which point of time I have to give maximum stress. Which are the key words, which are the key elements in my case which I have to highlight to the court? Which are the key incidences which I have to narrate? And when I am narrating all this, what should be my tone of my voice? What should be my volume of my voice? What should be the pitch of my voice? Because all this actually communicates to the court what we want to say. So, we need to keep this in mind that our presentation, our voice has to be in a proper manner, where we should have slightly a higher pitch. I am saying pitch and not saying volume. On what sentences we have to stress ourselves. This is a skill of communication, and the more we do in a proper manner, our chances of getting order in our favor will increase. Then we have the flow of arguments. If you observe senior counsels, again I am saying observation because that is a very important part of it. You come to know the method in which they present their case. How do they open their case? How do they handle the case in between? How do they connect their case with law, connect their facts with law? See, if I speak properly, you will hear me. And when I am speaking properly means I am speaking in a flow. So, it has to be like a chain, you know. So, one thing leading to other, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. So, this leading from one to other is called the flow, and anybody will hear you or hear me or hear anybody only if the person talking is having a good flow in his arguments. So, we need to have a very good flow in our arguments. Only then we will be able to achieve what we want to achieve. Another thing is alertness. You have to be very much alert in the court, even during your own arguments or when you are hearing the argument of the other side. The reason is, you might design a particular activity. You may think that yes, I will speak this, I will put up this points, but that may not certainly work. So, you have to be very alert. We should know when to switch the gears, that okay, I can't argue on this, but then I will take this path looking at what is going on between the court, myself, or between the court, myself and other side, and accordingly that alertness has to be there in our mind. We can't be rigid that no, I have decided I want to argue this, so I will argue only this. Please do not do that. That is nothing but to some extent satisfying our personal egos of putting up the case. See, ultimately we are doing all these activities for our clients. So we have to keep our personal egos aside and keep on constantly deriving the strategy as to how my client will get benefit of it. So alertness is very, very important. Switching gears is also again important. The next one of it is our own attire. See, attire has to be good because that gives us more confidence. See, everybody knows, supposing I wear the clothes of a king, by default I will start thinking I am like a king. Why? Why? Because the attire has put in my mind that power, that position, that control. So our attire has to be always good. It has to be very comfortable. Because if the attire is not comfortable, probably when we are sitting for our turn to argue, we may have more concentration to eliminate the problems created by attire rather than thinking on our case. I will take this opportunity to tell everybody that one thing which every lawyer needs to keep in mind, that at any cost we should have excellent shoes. Now I think it may sound funny, but let me tell you, please analyze your entire day. 10 o'clock you reach office up to 5:30 in the evening. If you are a litigating lawyer, you are always on your legs. Either you are walking, you are climbing, you are standing, you are maximum time, 80% of your time you are on your legs. And for that we really need good shoes, or else there will be lot of problems for us. And it is not that, as my practice increases, I will be sitting more. No, it's actually the contrary. The more and more our practice increases, the more and more we will be on our legs. See, shoes are something which really make you comfortable. They will not pain your legs. They will not create, because of leg painings, you may have early kind of fatigue. All these are important. It may sound funny, but please think it in a very serious manner, because that is what is going to help us for years together. Today, supposing I am 25, I may bear it, but tomorrow when I am 50, and if I don't follow this regime, probably in 50 I will start having lot of knee issues and all that. So from that angle I am saying it. There are a lot of other things which are also required, but yes, in a court craftsmanship, even the attire is equally important. So friends, this was the thing which we wanted to convey you, and that is how the art of court craftsmanship has to be inculcated in us, so that we get maximum benefit in our litigations. Thank you.